in there. Yes. Hello, and hello to Samantha. I'm so happy that you're here with me. So I'm Sarah Jennings. Some people might not know me. I'm a kinesiologist and a kind of a teacher in the healing practitioner world. And Samantha is an incredible storyteller and art therapist, and also teaches her own courses. I teach a few courses. So I just wanted to bring her on because she's done some of my courses, and I wanted to hear her experience because it's been a few months at least now. And she's been telling me that there's some good things to report. So I thought, why don't we do it on a live? And then I'm learning at the same time as everyone else. And I also wanted to, well, I wanted to talk about the life as a practitioner, because when I first met you, through a mutual friend, I knew I was going to meet you because we were all going to be camping together, but I hadn't met you physically. And when I did, this is so kind of cheesy, but I did cry.
You did.
I did. And I didn't expect that. And it was one of the first times, it's happened maybe once or twice before, where I meet someone and I recognize the amount of work instantly. I could feel it in my body, how much work you've put into your craft, because I could feel that you've restructured or retemplated real earth or original earth, or beyond the detachment and disconnection that we are faced with growing up in the Western world. You had obviously worked hard to restructure that or bring yourself back into your body and honoring your craft like daily. And I could feel that in you, and I recognized it in myself, because I know that I had to work so hard to become well enough, to function and, be a grounded practitioner in the world, anchored and, kind of a solid lighthouse that kind of just keeps going and going. And I think I just recognized that in you. And it was a really beautiful meeting for me, gave me hope. And yeah. So do you remember that time when I met you?
So well. So Sarah and I met at a festival at Buddhafield, and I was performing, and it was the first time we connected, and she was sitting in the audience, just so gorgeous with your big eyes, like it's my favorite thing in the world, telling stories. And I really remember that moment. And then from then on, we've just been like, hi.
Yeah, and I think
connected.
Yeah, and I think what's happened as well is that I've been writing for about a decade now, or 8 years at least, on Facebook, and I write these massive things that I spend ages kind of feeling into and like tasting and trying to work out how to say it. And then you're doing it on stage and, really encouraging people back to their hearts, back to the land, back to themselves. And I was just like, oh my God, it's just so, I got goosebumps now thinking about that. I'm so pleased that there are people like you. The world is a safer place with people like you in it.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yay. So I saw you doing your thing, and you've been doing your thing a long time. And then at some point you chose to do Money Gateway, then Visibility Gateway, and then all this stuff's happened. So you can go ahead and tell me. And actually, just before you start, the reason why I do what I do is because I realized the grit that has taken me to become a successful practitioner. And to be able to earn enough to live, to pay the rent, to have a car, or like do all the things and live well as well. And I know that so many practitioners can't make ends meet. And there's the starving artist, or the healer in debt, and there's this sort of poverty consciousness, certainly in UK, I know, and from other countries I've been to, like South Africa and a bunch of other places, for all sorts of reasons. There is people speak in the language of lack, or when you say that, you start noticing yourself do it. You're in the shop, you're like, oh, I shouldn't have that, maybe I shouldn't have that. And you're kind of making choices about what you're worth, or you're afraid of asking for people to pay for your healing work because of all sorts of weird outdated ideas about money. So yeah, I just wanted this call to kind of focus around you and I as practitioners that have put a lot of work into the craft, and to encourage and inspire people not to give up when they have that calling. And just kind of, I think we both have ways that we'll share at the end of helping people step into that path for themselves and make a success of it. So that was kind of like the frame. So where were you?
Thank you. I think it's a great place to start, actually, where we met, because when I met you, it was you saw the years of experience and the work that I've put in and my dedication to the craft of storytelling and ceremony and holding space and ritual, and I've not walked a conventional path. I've not done what society has expected of me, and I've committed wholeheartedly to the work that brings me alive in the world, that makes me feel truly inspired, and have been refining it and tweaking it and tinkering it and getting up and trying it and failing at it and doing it better and doing it a little bit and just figuring it out as I've gone over like the last 9 years or so. So there's been a real commitment and devotion to that. But when I met you at this point, I was so to share on a greater level and to have a bigger impact and to reach more people. And there was like this invisible wall that made it really difficult. And I didn't know what it was, but it felt like I was like wading through mud or pushing up against like something that I just couldn't budge. And it was exhausting, like honestly, so exhausting to want to share and to have so much that I felt I could bring to the world. But I was like, why isn't this happening with ease? How do I make this happen with greater ease? And after talking with you, and you were like, oh, I help people do that. I was like, really? Amazing. That was exactly, yeah.
And so this invisible wall, the perfect little thing I can interject with is that I had it myself. I'd been doing public speaking and traveling the world with aura transformation. And then I knew I had to step into video, doing, lives and stuff like that. And I was like, I just couldn't do it. Like an invisible wall would drag me into the mud, something would just go, ugh. And I couldn't even, the idea of it would make me feel sick. And it wasn't like stage fright. It was something deeper, weirder, like eyelids go droopy, can't think, can't even write an idea, don't know anything. The floor's gonna suck me up. And I know a lot of people have that, just even telling people they're a practitioner in the healing arts, or putting out a flyer or public speaking, anything, all these. And I know that invisible wall, from being a kinesiologist, we get to be like a detective, and we're like, is it this? Is it this? Is it that? And, we managed with many practitioners, and then eventually it became the visibility gateway, found that there was all these common themes. And some of it is like the witch wound persecution. Some of it is never being seen and heard as a child. So you just don't know how to express yourself and, how to be received by others. For others, it was the money story. Like, money is evil, so if I'm successful, then I'm not good, and then I'm not a spiritual person. Like, it just goes into these weird zigzags of reasons why not to show up and not to speak your truth. And I think that we just have to take the shame off the table, because our history is so, so our history as practitioners and artists is not good. As women, neither. So yeah, that is so multi-layered that I made a whole course about it. And then I had to make a separate course just for the money bit, because it was just so many patterns around money that I couldn't give it justice within the visibility gateway. But go on. So there's a wall.
I feel like, no, I'm agreeing with so much that you're sharing, and also that like real fatigue. Like every time I tried to put something out or wanted to communicate about it, there was this like shutting down or exhaustion. Like a part of me wasn't fully allowing me to do it, even though it was like one part going, yes, yes, share, and the other just like, I couldn't. It was like I was fighting against something. And I really appreciate that you talked about the shame, because there was a bit of me that was nervous even to jump on this live and like reveal the parts that were struggling, and the parts that, in not being able to put myself out and be visible, then there was the struggle with money. And so they kind of linked. And so I'm not surprised that the money gateway has come out of the visibility gateway. And I was driving and I was thinking about it. I was like, why am I ashamed to talk about this? Because actually the brilliance of the kinesiology that you hold in your groups, it works on so many levels: the personal, the here, the now, my life as Samantha living, but also then intergenerational trauma and like collective and historical. And so what your course helped me to understand, and the work that we did, was that so much of what was getting in the way wasn't my fault. And it was like thousands upon thousands of years of oppression and silencing and wounding and hurting that was in me, that I was carrying, that I didn't even know about. And how could I have even known about? So you took the lid off and helped not only with my individual life experience, but also me understanding, okay, so I'm part of something so much bigger. And I think the kinesiology really helped. It just got to the heart of it every time. And so with the visibility gateway, it really felt like a gateway. And it's such a powerful container that I think a lot of us in that group, I speak for myself, but as we were coming up into that visibility gateway, there's so much pressure, and it's like all the things getting in the way seem to come up to the surface, which is so
everyone's
healing,
melting down.
right? But it's so necessary to
Yeah.
see it and to go, oh, that's the thing, oh, that's the belief, oh, that's the feeling that I've been carrying that has been like really scary to step into. And then to really step into it, it was a bit wobbly at first. It was like, can I do it? Can I do it? But I think it really came from me, because I was like, enough is enough. I was so ready, and I was so ready, and I was so willing. And I know, Sarah, you talk about this, enough is enough. And I just had that so in me. I was done. I was just done with being small, with hiding, with not sharing who I was and my beliefs about life and my connection to creation. And I was like, you know what? This is healing, and this is helpful for others. This isn't just about me. And that was really helpful. Just like, get out of my own way. Enough is enough. And I think that readiness and that willingness was really helpful to step through that portal. And now I feel like I'm through it, and it's so much easier. Oh my gosh. Just like the ease of going, oh, I can share, and I'm going to write this thing, and I'm going to put it out there, and I'm going to make this video, and I'll share it. And there's still an edge there, right? It's like training wheels. Like, I'm learning as I'm going, but my confidence in myself is so much greater. And I'm remembering now that fog like it happened, not like it is here now. And that's hugely relieving to acknowledge. And thank you so much for your help. So much. So yeah, I've been sending Sarah
not to cry.
I've been sending Sarah voice notes, just like, you have no idea how powerful your work is, and like the impact that it's having on my life. It's working.
I'm like, yeah, it does what it says on the tin, I think. Yeah. Oh, there's so many things you've said that I could kind of, but thank you so much for sharing part of your story. I'd like to hear more in a moment, like what is actually happening. But yeah, I think what happens when that fog hits and your body's like, no, not doing it, it's actually parts of you going, okay, that's not safe, and you might die, or you might not ever find love if you do that, or you won't be free, or all the things that we value as humans. It's like, if there's any threat, even if it's not real threat, it's like a ancient threat, or your parents saying the same thing again and again, and then you're like, well, if I do that, then so our body is just protecting us. And that's where I think I do the kinesiology to find where the things are, but then a lot of my training and a lot of work that I try and share with people is what do you do when the fog comes again? Because I still get it occasionally when I'm about to do something new. It's like, oh, parts of me like, that's not safe or whatever. And then I now know how to go, okay, where is that? And where's it coming from? What part of me is trying to speak to me? Or is it an outside oppression of some kind? And so I think a lot of my work, I try very much to share as much as I've learned so that people can keep doing it. It's not just like, oh, we'll do this thing now, and then, then you're on your own. It's more like you're going to have a set of tools, or, like even the enough is enough, or pour the love in, or little phrases that just remind you like, okay, I don't need to constrict. I don't need to shrink. I don't need to contort myself into little shapes to people please. So yeah, I think what is also what when you say it's working, it's also obviously all the work you've put in, of course. But I think that when you realign or restructure your energy field to be okay with visibility, means that people can actually see when you write things. Whereas before, if you're like, don't look, don't look, don't look, and you've like don't want it for some reason, people can't see it. People don't see you, don't hear you, they don't come to your events. There's something going on. And sometimes it is like the universe deciding that you need a break, but other times I would say that you've got an invisibility cloak that's doing a lot of work, throwing a lot of smoke and mirrors at your audience so that they can't see you. So when part of the visibility gateway and what we do over those 8 weeks, there's so many bits to it. There is an element of like kind of setting up a business plan of, not business plan, but like a sort of switching your brain into being able to think quickly and creatively about new business ideas. and being able to know what you need to have in there so that it hits the right points for people, so that you reach the people that would that you want to work with and have them, you know, most impact on. But so you are learning as well something I call magical marketing. But the basic idea is that we're aligning you to your calling, to your mission, to your, you know, what you're really here to do, what your heart wants you to do, that you might be afraid of doing. And then also opening up maybe where there's been a lot of blockages around expression, like your throat. A lot of practitioners feel like their throat's closing up when they try and do anything. So a lot of that is just being silenced or not heard or afraid to speak. So we kind of work with that sensitively, kindly, and compassionately to like breathe new space into it so that it becomes safer. We're not just going to go, oh, I think you froze, Samantha. Can you hear me? Yeah. Oh, yeah, you're here.
Okay.
You froze. Yeah, so yeah, we don't just rip away people's survival mechanisms or safety mechanisms. We're actually teaching your body to slowly start expanding through that or away from that. And then we align it through. So you've had an alignment with your calling, what you really want to do, what you're good at, and understand how to communicate about it. But then we also make sure that all of your kind of layers of your energy field and the very outer edges of you, where you connect with the world, all that is clear. So what happens is when you go, da, 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 this is my thing, people are like, oh, great, I can see it and hear it, and let's interact with it. And I can feel the quality of it. And I've said often that when people are really embodying their craft and they know what they're talking about, there's a structure and years of like love have gone in it. It feels like structured crystals sort of that come out of their mouth and lands with people. And I can sometimes see it and I'm like, oh, but with you, I actually kind of felt it energetically, like your whole system had been kind of artfully curated. And it was, you know, it's like a sensation. So people feel that, you know, that alignment. If you're like, you know, look really great, your idea is really great, but inside you're like, don't do it, I don't like it, I don't like, go away, then people are gonna feel it no matter how polished you look. Yeah. And sometimes powerful kind of you know, many generations of, you know, shaman, healer, medicine woman, you know, we've been persecuted on many occasions. And when that energy is decided never again for some reason, you know, like moves all of the magic and power of some ancient kind of medicine person that is angry and yeah, just not, has said, I'm not doing this again. I'm not putting myself in service again. You know, the world doesn't deserve our magic or our wisdom for whatever reason. That's like a contract, or, you know, and that's very powerful when you're watching a video of someone, because on the Visibility Gateway, people make video after video and they get feedback from myself and Tallulah. And
which was really, really helpful, by the way. The feedback was phenomenal. Yeah, it was like you guys saw just straight through all of the things saying, don't look at me and I'm not ready. And you just, yeah, the feedback was incredible.
I have heard that it's like one of the best things about the Visibility Gateway, because you're not just passively watching how to do things, you're like being made to make videos, and then we're going to analyze them with compassion and care, but also like, okay, you know, honest feedback. Like when I watched your video, I couldn't concentrate, or I kept being distracted, or I felt really heavy, or it didn't connect, or that didn't make sense, or have you thought of this? You know, like trying to be as constructive and kind as possible, but make sure that you get where you want to get, you know, get the transmission clear. What was I going to say? I forgot what I was going to say now. Feedback?
Well,
video feedback? Oh, it'll come back, I'm sure. I think, yeah. Well, where were we going to go from that? You go, because I can't remember what I was saying.
Well, I'd like to share that following the Visibility Gateway, during that process, I launched a course, and I found that the holding of it enabled me in those, I think, 7 or 8 weeks to just do it, like actually just go, I'm just enough and I'm putting it out there. And so I launched the Art of Ritual last year, and then this year have launched Envision. So the Art of Ritual is a course designed for people who are interested in ritual, the practice of ritual, to support them to center, connect, and align with themselves and with the higher power, with something other than themselves, to receive that support and to integrate it into your everyday life as well.
Because you are a walking ritual, basically.
Yeah,
like everything you do is a ritual. I was quite impressed, actually. And I remember seeing you do the workshop at another festival thing that we went to. And then I remember you during the Visibility Gateway going like, I'm not sure what I should do a course about. I'm like, well, I saw you do that. I saw you do a course. Like,
that's right.
I always say to people, take whatever you have that you could do with your eyes closed that you think is too easy and normal or something, but to everyone else, it probably isn't.
And that's what I realized. I realized in offering it, I was like, wow, there is a wealth. Like, I've got this wealth of skills from my everyday lived experience that has become normal. here again. It's become so normal for me that I'm so ready to share it. And like you said, it's realizing that not everybody has that. So it's like, what do you have that's unique for you that you can share, that you might think, oh, I've been doing this and it's just my natural way, but what do I have that could support others just even a little bit, just to step along their path? And another practice that I've been working with very intimately is this process of visioning. So seeing where you want to go, creating clear pictures in your mind's eye and feeling it with a lot of passion and felt sense, and then stepping into that reality. And it's also about getting clearer with the seed vision. Like, what did you come into this earth with? I believe that everybody has a vision that they were born with. And along the way, somehow people forgot or got lost or distracted, but it's like coming home to that original seed vision and going, I'm here for something important and significant. So what is that? And working creatively to connect back to that and then see it and step into it. So it's like ritual again, but envisioning. So that's a really powerful course that just finished like a week ago.
Oh, wow.
And then this is like kind of the Visibility Gateway for you, but the one that's coming up starting next week on Tuesday is called Awaken the Storyteller Within. And it's an incredible fusion of all of them, like the ritual, the visioning. And it's for healers, visionaries, dreamers, people that feel that they have a really important message in their heart to share, that either see imagery or they want to. I believe that everybody has a creative wellspring within them, a place where imagery, divine inspiration comes from. And we just have to remember or learn to tap back into it to allow that healing imagery to flow. It's where the stories come to me, and it's where I receive them. And then I'm helping people to remove the blocks from their voice about being heard, and remove the blocks about being seen, and to translate their images and their visions and their messages into a spoken word piece, an original medicine story. So I'm helping them craft their own medicine story or poem or whatever feels right to whomever they feel it could most benefit. And we finish on the 6th week. It's epic. It's so powerful and transformational and creative and inspiring. And we finish in the 6th week with a really powerful ritual of sharing your story and being witnessed and reflected back to and seen and heard. And then you get to take that out into the world. So yeah, I'm really excited to launch. This is the 2nd round, and it's already over half full. So there's 3 spaces left, which is really exciting. So it's starting next Tuesday.
Amazing.
I know.
And you didn't have any courses when you did the Visibility Gateway?
Well, I did. I did.
Yeah.
They were all there. Like, they were just kind of like seeds that came up.
Yeah. Well, my courses were all there for 6 years, and it was when the pandemic hit and I couldn't travel and do my aura transmission stuff that all my courses that I've been dreaming about for so long, just all the pieces, it was like time, confidence, am I ready, and then it all came together. All of them came out in like a year and a bit. So I totally hear you, like all of them coming out at the same time. That's amazing. It sounds very exciting. And if you've ever heard Samantha tell a story, like she said, the first time I heard one, I was like, oh, like tears. And it was just so beautiful. And I've seen you several times now, and I've watched, there was a big fire and lots of kids and adults, and it was an interactive story that you did. And I just loved watching the audience, all the faces of these grown men and women and the children you'd expect, but the grown men like kind of looking like little boys and little girls again around the fire and hearing these stories. But they're not just stories, they're also medicine stories, like you say. There's so many layers, and it really reminds me of like how I try and help people, but it's a different way, I guess, but you know, repopulate, re-landscape like the inner world, and learn the language of the body, which is not verbal. The language of the body is vision, image, color, metaphor, symbol. And then learning that, and the more you go in and listen, the deeper it gives you, you know, that it gives you more and more richness the more and more you listen. You know, and often when I work with like the elements, and we try and work, I try and help people feel into their different elements and learn to listen to them, and then ask, what do you need now? And then the images change. And if the person doesn't go and do the things they asked, then it stops being as rich. You know, like your body doesn't trust you as much somehow. So there's something about the integration piece. I guess that's what, you know, visibility gateway is good at, that bit where you have to do the thing, or like you're actually making people do a piece of work at the end. And that's like, I think there's a real importance in integrating the shifts that you're making at every step of the way, because otherwise you're just going to course after course and you're not doing the thing. It's like someone mentioned, like, I bought the book and I thought that would be enough. You know, but you have to actually do the things in the book. Yeah. Oh, I'm really very proud of you. And
I think that was that. Thanks. I'm going to receive that. Because I mean, I agree. I think that was the really helpful piece about the visibility gateway, was that you were empowering us to do the thing now and not wait. It wasn't about later. It was like, if you're not going to do it now, then when are you going to do it? And I think that's for all of us. There's so many excuses about why we can't do the thing that is like really alive in our hearts. And it's like, we just have to do it. Like, it's uncomfortable. And it's like, there's going to be stuff that's like, don't do it. But that's all the more reason, if it's something that you love and that you're good at, to do it, to step in and just go, like, enough. Like, it's time. What else am I here for? I've got to share this.
And sometimes I think it was something I said, I remember saying it, and you were like, oh, you know, I think it was something like, oh, if I share, will I annoy people on Facebook or something?
That was a big one for me. Yeah,
I don't want to annoy people, like oversell or anything. And I was like, yeah, but surely that the impact you could have on people's lives, like the real life-changing, heart-exploding goodness that you could bring to the world, far outweighs maybe annoying one or two people that aren't going to work with you anyway. So you know, like, we have to put things into perspective, the discomfort side. And then that, I wrote it down actually, but you said at the beginning, the healer's journey, the entrepreneur's journey, the artist's journey, you know, this journey of like, you have a calling in your heart, but you're scared somewhere, or you don't know how, because we weren't taught how. We weren't taught about finances or leadership or healing. We had to go and spend a lot of money to learn how to do all that stuff. It's a journey like this, you know, you're like, this is the best thing, I'm so glad I'm doing my own work. Oh my God, I suck and I'm scared. What the hell am I doing? I don't have any money. Okay, I made loads of money and I've not made any money. And it's like that. And then, you know, I feel like with myself, it's been 10 years and I just knew the minute I had that, I can't remember what order, it's so long ago now, but just there was a moment where I just went, oh my God, this is all I am ever going to do. This is it. I have to do this thing. And it kind of went through every odds. And I think most people, if they were just in a job and they were given that many challenges that we probably face in this work, you know, in any other normal industry, they would have gone, I don't like this job, I'm going to go somewhere else. And yeah, so I think my big thing is about how can we raise the bar for our standard of living in the creative healing arts, and for the value to be really recognized in the world, for us, you know, for the work we've put in, and the appreciate, you know, it's like when you look at, I don't know, even a painting or a performance or a story or a course that someone's put together, you know, that's like so many years of mastery and their teacher's mastery, and then it kind of compounds. So yeah, don't give up is, I think, a big message from me.
Don't give up.
Don't
me
give
too,
up.
because we're on the path. I think that's also the thing, is like, I don't feel like it's a destination. It's like we're still on the journey. Like I see Sarah and I'm, in contact with you, and you're still on the journey, showing up every single day. And so am I, like every single day. And I'm like sometimes totally exhausted. And it's just like, I love this thing and I'm showing up for it, or it's really hard right now and I'm showing up for it. I'm just going to do one thing today to move a little bit closer to it. And so it's not that like we're there or that anybody's there. It's like this longer, it's just unfolding, and the mastery is just getting increasingly better, and it's going to become more sophisticated and nuanced and helpful and powerful. And it's like only by doing it is that possible, and we've got to start somewhere.
And there's also like a generosity of spirit there, you know, in the artist that will, I can feel it in you and I, is that when we are doing our thing or sharing our craft with you, it's not a passive thing. I mean, maybe in a performance, maybe it's more audience based, but in a course, you know, you're putting everything in so that someone else gets those tools and gets that understanding. And it's that lovely picture of, you know, we're all on a climbing a mountain, and there's just a few steps ahead, and then you put your hand down and help the one up the next step because you know that bit, and then they'll help you up the next bit because they know that bit. So
I feel like you did that so beautifully, just like with everyone that you meet. And like, honestly, when you open up those doors to your courses, you just share. You're like, what do you want to know? I'll help you. I'll share my experience. And you're so transparent and honest, and you really do that. Like, that's what you've done with me. You've lent out your hand from the higher place, and you're just like, I know how to get there. And like, don't believe that stuff. Like, that's not worth getting in your way. And you just name it, and it's so healing. It's like, oh yeah, okay, I'll just take a step up, and like, yeah, I'll grab your hand. So
I think you were particularly privileged to be in my house, and then I just went on a 30-minute an hour, maybe it was 3-hour sort of comedy sketch about spiritual communities and you know, and where to the pitfalls in that. And I haven't maybe been that public about it, but yeah,
we've a whole other conversation, isn't it? Maybe another live.
Another live. Yeah, so what have you got coming up? And then I'll share what I've got coming up, and then we can call it a day.
Yeah, great. So I've mentioned the main one, which is super exciting, Awakening the Storyteller Within. And if any of you have a niggling, this is not for anyone who is a storyteller or has any experience storytelling. It's if you feel an aliveness to seeing a different way of being and living. You've got dreams and visions coming to you. You want to activate your imagination. You want to find that magical child again within yourself that can see possibilities and receive imagery and symbology and feeling from a higher place. It's like we're literally opening ourselves up to receive from a greater source. And that's so healing in itself to receive. It's one of the most inspiring things about being alive for me. And then it's like, well, how do we then communicate that to people and clear the blocks in the way to express that to the world? And so I really am so passionate about this. And the first course was so powerful. So it's a really transformational experience. Like, you're going to clear a lot. And we work really creatively. So we work with guided visualization and art and movement and expression and ritual and ceremony. It is one great big long ceremony. And it's an intimate container as well. So you're going to come out with something to share, whether it be with your child or your family or your work colleagues or the communities that you're in. But it's designed to offer you a framework, much like the Visibility Gateway, that people can use again and again to keep creating stories to share. And so it's an empowerment process as well. And so that's Awakening the Storyteller Within, starting next week on Tuesday, the 29th of March, for 6 weeks. Contact me or just connect with me on Facebook. And if anyone's in the UK that's watching this, I'm offering sacred storytelling ceremonies happening on the solstices and the equinoxes with music and ritual and ceremony. We're doing it around the fire and when we say medicine stories, like, these stories are medicinal. Like, they have such a healing power in them, and they're interactive and they're fun and they're playful, and they get people up and included with their voices and their bodies. And so I'm going to be running them in Bristol and Totnes, Devon,
Edinburgh.
every 6 weeks. Potentially, can you have me? Can we do that?
Should we do it near the Fringe?
Okay, I'm up for it. I'm up for it. But yeah, if you see that, please come. If you feel the call, I would so love this. So magical and beautiful and community oriented. So
yeah, and they seem to be taking off. So I've been very, very happy for you, seeing you being recognized for your incredible work.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you for having a chat with me too. So I was inspired to do the chat today also because you yesterday were like, it's really working, and I was like, talk to my people, because I'm doing the Money Gateway starting tomorrow. So Money Gateway is 6 weeks and it's just kinesiology. So Visibility Gateway is coaching, kinesiology, content videos, homework and stuff. This is just the kinesiology bit, and it's like a nice way of easing into the Visibility Gateway. And we're really looking at, you know, challenging, rewriting, reworking, loving our conversations with money instead of poverty, lack, I can't do it, I'm not good enough, imposter syndrome, you know, all the ancient stories about money and spirituality, generational trauma around money that you've been brought up with. And yeah, so it's so multi-layered. I find it really quite hard to describe the amount of layers I have without going on forever. But when we look at what the ultimate aim of Money Gateway, if we were looking at it as a goal that the kinesiology is going to work towards. Kinesiology is muscle testing, and it means that we can get a yes and a no from the system. We can find out where in the system blockages or issues are happening, or lack of flow. And then we can find out what the body needs to do that. And then we get to tell like incredible stories about what is happening in our bodies, because and then when the brain can understand, like your whole system can go, oh, that's what that is. And then you can either, you know, you can kind of combine rationalizing it and dissolving energies that are stagnant, stuck, or, you know, shouldn't, you know, or repair what's broken, reconnect what's been fragmented. And the ultimate aim is, I call it optimize or expand your wealth frequency. So my theory goes, and I'm sure many other people's theory goes, is that the container that we have to hold our own life force, love, belonging, home, energy, the energy and feelings and sensations of wealth, home, richness, nurturing, money, all of it is linked. And it's like we're a vessel, like our aura, if you like, or some sort of structure that holds our being in place. If it's like a sieve, or if it feels like energy goes in, it comes out the other side, or you get money and it goes, you can't make enough money, you never can hold enough money. There's all these mysterious things that happen around money. Money is like this invisible game that you don't understand. I keep using the image of people with their heads in the cloud, because that's how it felt for me too. It's like, la la la, don't need to know about money, it'll just work out okay. And, you know, and a lot of people, it's not only putting the blinkers on purpose, it's like we were given blinkers at birth somehow, like, here, you're in a system, you're not going to understand money, and or you're a magical creative human, we're going to bash that out of you as well. We're going to make sure you forget your personal story of greatness. And then people that have been doing this for many lifetimes, we slowly remember, and we're like, oh, what's going on? I can remember part of myself. I can remember my magic, and I've got all this magic coming out of me. And we're having to relearn again and again how to use it, what it is, how does it work? And so Money Gateway is really about challenging all these false ideas. It's unplugging or just dissolving this cloud of rubbish that keeps us blind and, you know, in confused fog around money. So we're going to work with the kind of collective historical energies of that. And then, yeah, increasing your capacity to hold more money, more wealth, more impact, more clients. It's all the same thing. And so that really brings you down to worth. You're good enough, you're worthy enough. And also help build like a structure and foundation in your body. Like literally, it's like an energetic foundation for you to build your life from. Because when people are too far in the air, or like away with the fairies and just like la 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 about life, you know, healers that are like not able to kind of build stuff or make a business happen, we really need to land in our bodies. So it's not that you lose your magic, it's just that your magic becomes part of you being able to manifest real things in life, including a business plan. Sounds wrong. I don't mean like the old school kind of business plan. I mean just setting up, you know, structures, habits, behaviors that actually bring what you need into your life, that make you kind of go beyond survival and chaos. So that's the Money Gateway. So it's just kinesiology, 2 hours a week. We're doing it Wednesday, 10 till 12. So that works for Australians, actually. I rarely do the morning calls, but I've had a couple of Australians come lately. So that's just otherwise it's afternoon and good for America. But there's no Americans this time. And then the Visibility Gateway is basically it's like your storytelling one. It's the big one. It's like all my stuff all at once. And people urged me to call it an intensive, because it is quite intensive. You kind of need a bit of time to do it. You get the calls. So you get the content video, which is like, this is the theme. You're going to think about this, and then you're going to come up with some mind maps about that. So I kind of, through the back door, make you kind of get clear about what it is you're doing and what it is that you're really good at. What kind of impact do you really create? What evidence have you got? And by the end of it, all these pieces I've made you think about and dream about and analyze, we kind of put all together at the end into a kind of, what do you call it? You called it a second ago, like not a pattern, like something you can reproduce again and again and again, a structure that you can reproduce again and again. A framework, yeah. So it's a framework that you can use for every video you make, every course you run, every post you write. It kind of hits all the things that make it a good story, if you like, or a good container that people can come in and this stuff happens, this journey happens, and then they end up with this at the end. And it's being able to communicate that to people, because a lot of practitioners don't know how to communicate the value of the work that they're offering, and then are afraid of putting a price that is worthy on there. So the Visibility Gateway is this magical marketing, it's energetic alignment, it's coaching on your individual ideas, it's watching other people start to shine and become brighter and brighter, and you can see a big difference within week 2, you know. And then at the end we have like a closing ceremony, and we infuse a lot of love and best wishes to each and every one of us. And then you're in a community that's pretty quiet, actually. There's a lot in the pipeline of what I'm going to do after this. I'm not going to talk about it, but yeah, there's a graduate group as well, and then I have other courses, but those are the 2 that are coming up. So tomorrow we start Money Gateway, like tackling the money stories, and then going into the more intense Visibility Gateway to really get you aligned, able to speak, and all the energy aligned, so that when you do, people hear it. And it's my passion, and I love doing it. So yeah. Yay.
And you do it so well, and I've done both of them, and I highly recommend them, and they complement each other beautifully. I went from the money into the visibility gateway, and both of them just unlocked and reconfigured parts of my being that are allowing me to share in the way that I'm doing. So yeah, if anyone feels the call, highly recommend it.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for all the ways that you've supported me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
I tell you often, but I will tell you again. Thank you so much. And I love you, and I'm so grateful for you in the world.
Yeah, and it's just easy to share with you, because I see what, you know, the amount of impact you're going to have on people for the rest of your life. It's just easy and effortless to share what I know with you. Yeah, so it's been lovely to talk to you. I've had goosebumps most of it, so that feels nice. Yeah, we'll get in touch with either of us easy enough just by messaging us on Facebook, is probably as easy as any. Good luck with everything coming up for you, and I hope to see you soon.
Okay, see you soon. Bye everyone.
Bye, lovely. Bye.